What's going on, everybody? Jay Howe here. Patch 2.2.0 is live for Diablo, and there are several changes. Now, you can still be a fan of the Marauders build, but one very important change was to the Natalya's build. Now, if you were paying attention during the PTR, you know that there was the spin to win to where you could strafe. A lot of that got changed, and it not quite as living up to what it was originally on the PTR. But you can still have a lot of fun with this build. I'm going to give you guys one of the best T6 clearing builds you can possibly get. I'm going to show you this in action at the end of it. I'll go through this and some of the gear and stuff that you're going to need in order to make this work. And then you're going to have tons of fun with this and clear things really, really fast. I'll show you that in the action, so stay tuned at the very end. For the skills, Chakram with Shuriken Cloud, Strafe with Stinging Steel, Rain of Vengeance with Dark Cloud, Vengeance with Seethe, Preparation with Punishment, Companion with Bat Companion. For your passives, Hot Pursuit, Perfectionist, Awareness, and Cull the Weak. Now, there's several different ways you can run this. Your main objective is to have Strafe and Rain of Vengeance. You don't necessarily need Chakram with Shuriken Cloud. You can certainly run any other number of skills here, whether it be a defensive skill, something like Fan of Knives if you're going to set up your skills a little bit different. There's actually a way you can set that up and have bladed armor to where you get the extra 40% additional armor, and that'll be good for when you're strafing and taking damage. That's one way to set it up. You'd have to reconfigure your skills a little bit, but I'm running this because I'm going full physical. All my skills here you can see are physical, and I'm going to show you why that's important here once we get into this. Strafe with Stinging Steel. This is what kind of expedites things and really makes it quicker. Throw out knives rather than arrows that deal an extra 140% damage on critical hits. So it's good to have good crit hit chance to be able to make this thing and make that strafe really do some damage. Next up, Rain of Vengeance with Dark Cloud. Now, you can go different ways. The lightning has a nice range on it. Stampede, this knocks stuff back, plus it does a ton of damage. This one does a ton of damage, but the area is less affected. Flying Strike with the cold one. This is good, but I'm going to show you again. Pay attention at the end. You're going to see why I'm running with the physical. It's very important, especially if you're doing solo or just group T6 content. There's a very specific reason why we're going this route. Vengeance with Seethe, because Seethe gives us that extra 10 hatred per second. Plus, you know, we get the extra damage increase with the physical skills. But this is going to help manage our hatred quite easily and then be able to help us out doing a little bit extra damage. Preparation with Punishment. There are times that you won't need this, particularly long periods of time, but it's always good to keep it in your back pocket. Again, you could go with something else here. Like I said, you could easily go with Fan of Knives with bladed armor or any other number of directions here that might benefit you, whether defensively or offensively, but I tend to find this when I need it. So you don't always need it, but you'll find good uses for it. Companion with Bat Companion. Again, if you learn how to manage your hatred well, you can easily go with Wolf Companion, get that extra damage out there, and really make this shine. Else, if you want that extra 1 hatred per second passively, plus that active bonus there to where you get 50 hatred every time that comes around, that's nice as well. Hot Pursuit. This is one, increase movement speed by 20% for 2 seconds. Keep in mind that when you are strafing, you're moving at 75% movement speed. So having that in there will boost you back up to 95% movement speed and be able to help you clear a little bit quicker. Perfectionist, this is good because it allows you to go in there, survive a little bit, be able to have a little bit more toughness. If you want to, you can go with something like Archery just to get the extra damage bonus or any other number of directions there. Awareness, you are going to be getting your hands dirty, like I just said. You're going to be taking damage as a demon hunter no matter what, so it's always good to have that extra life. Cull the Weak. This is one where you could probably go a couple different directions. I'm using this specifically because we're using the Bane of the Trap gem. Because you're going to be probably standing closer most of the time, passing through stuff, you gain an aura around you that reduces enemy movement speed within 15 yards by 30%, which plays right into the Cull the Weak. Again, you don't necessarily have to go that route, but you know there's not a lot of options for this build. You could go with something like Blood Vengeance or any other number of directions that you want and really make use of that. So that's the skills as far as how that goes. For the gear, it's very important to keep an eye on this. Having the Natalya's 6 pieces And going without some of the other possibilities you can go, technically you can go a couple directions with this, but I'm going with this one for, just a fun type of play style. The new Natalya's bow actually rolls with Rain of Vengeance damage on it as a 5th primary affix, between 20 and 25% damage. I have an old ancient one that actually has a pretty significant amount of damage on it, so I'm keeping this one for right now. I'm running the boots, pants, gloves, chest, and helmet, and I'm rolling strafe damage in these directions. You can roll Rain of Vengeance damage at other locations, such as your chest piece and your shoulders, and so you can kind of balance the damage out and boost both skills as you're using them. So having that properly rolled will benefit you as well. Being able to roll other items to be able to benefit you, having a little bit of resource cost reduction will help you manage your hatred quite a bit, and having that on your shoulders and your gloves can help. If you did want to, and now here's another change, the Death Watch Mantle. Since you're going to be in there circling around a lot of stuff, they actually made this so it procs more often and does a lot more damage, 750 to 950% damage when hit, and that's a 32% chance. It can roll 25 to 35. This actually procs quite often. So I'm much more happier with this as an option to go in there and do damage. So I like this one. It's a fun thing to have. If you wanted to go something different, you could run a Ring of Royal Grandeur, a 2-piece of, say, a Marauder's shoulders and gloves to be able to get the companions out. That would actually give you all companions. You'd be able to get the wolf, the spider, the boar, and the bat companion. You'd actually be able to benefit from all of them. So that is up to your personal playstyle. One very important item is this brand new item, Crashing Rain, and you're going to see in the secondary there, Rain of Vengeance also summons a crashing beast that deals anywhere between 3,000 and 4,000% weapon damage. That's huge, and I'll show you that in action because you can actually go around, especially if you're playing solo, and basically one-shot every single elite. So we'll show you that in action. Obviously your goal is to get Rain of Vengeance around much more often. That plays right into the Natalya's pieces. The 2-piece bonus reduces the cooldown of Rain of Vengeance by 2 seconds when you hit with a hatred generating attack or hatred spending attack. 4-piece Rain of Vengeance deals 100% increased damage, and then your 6-piece after casting Rain of Vengeance deal 400% increased damage and take 30% reduced damage for 5 seconds. That helps you out immensely because your strafe is going to do a lot more damage, plus because you are strafing, you're actually going to be taking 30% reduced damage while you're in there getting your hands dirty. I'm running with the Spines of Seething Hatred just because I'm trying something right now with the chakram damage and the Shuriken Cloud here. If you have something like a Holy Point shot that has physical damage on it, that's another nice route to go to be able to boost up the elemental damage. Because like I said, all your skills here are physical, so they will benefit from that. So a Holy Point shot is nice to have there. Don't forget there's also the Natalya's Ring in case you wanted to go with the Ring of Royal Grandeur there to be able to get all the proper 6-piece bonuses. Any amulet is good here so long as you have a socket. The legendary gems that you'll most likely want to use, Bane of the Trapped, the Taegux because you're using a channeling skill, and that's going to stack quite nicely, and then a Bane of the Powerful. If you don't have 3 sockets, I would say get rid of either the either the Bane of the Powerful or the Bane of the Trapped, because the Bane of the Trapped might not always be there depending on how you utilize this. That's the gear, that's the skills. And the Paragon points, you want to max your movement speed in conjunction with your gear. I think I need to check that from the other build that I was running. So max out your movement speed, throw the rest into dexterity. Your crit hit chance, if it's high enough, you can leave that low. But for a build specifically like this, you're going to do crit hit damage. It might even be best to have cooldown reduction first, then crit hit chance. Then you go ahead and put some other points into attack speed. For your defense, resist all armor, life percentage, and then life regen. And for utility, resource cost reduction is very nice here to be able to strafe as much as possible. Life on hit and then area damage as needed. That's the skills, that's the gear, that's the Paragon points. I'm going to show you guys some action, so hang tight if you want to see this in action, see how fast it actually goes. If you're cutting off here, thanks for watching so far. If you like the build and this is something that works for you, feel free to hit that like button because that is always appreciated if you like the build or if you like the video or if you like both. But I'll show you some action real quick. This is going to be very, very fast. And the main reason I like this over, say, something like the new Unhallowed Essence, running around with multi-shot, running around with your old M6, they're all fast, right? But we're looking for a change, and this is one way to do it. Now, one of the things I was talking about was Rain of the Vengeance, and the reason I'm running it with physical. It's over 8 seconds, which is a pretty long time. But if you actually see when you cast this, it's actually going to target everything around you. So if I cast this, you're going to see that as I move, it's going to continue to follow with me. So it's continuing to do damage. So no matter what, even when I'm waiting for the next cooldown, it's still raining around. I haven't procced it yet, and it's still shooting. I proc it again, and then it follows me around. So it's a really nice thing to have. When it's going around and it's damaging, it'll even blow up boxes and stuff. It actually plays right into your hot pursuit, because whenever you hit something, it's also going to proc that there. Now, a few things to note: you can hold down your right button or your left button, whichever one you're running strafe on, and you can simultaneously cast Rain of Vengeance without interrupting that cast. That way you can keep your Taeguks going and continue to move along without having to worry about anything going. The Crashing Rain, you can actually see as we hit stuff, I casted Rain of Vengeance. The Crashing Rain belt completely annihilated those things, and whatever health was left over, Rain of Vengeance, because it was still coming down, finished everything off. So being able to maintain your hatred well, to be able to keep your Taeguk procced, which for all intents and purposes on T6 isn't necessarily that important. Keeping your Seethe with, or your Vengeance with Seethe up is also very beneficial when you're going through. So keep that in mind, because it's a very nice thing to be able to do additional damage while also helping to maintain your hatred. Again, guys, this is a great T6 build. It's not necessarily going to carry you to the top of the leaderboards, although there are some nice Natalya's options out there to keep in mind. This is just one strictly for clearing T6 at a very fast pace and going through and having a nice different way to play there. As you can see, we just knocked down quite a few elites in a very short time frame. So hopefully you like the build. Hopefully you like the new Natalya's changes. It's a great way to play. I had a ton of fun with this the minute it went live. There are two new pieces that you got to keep in mind. The pants and the gloves are new. All of your old Natalya's pieces are retroactive, so if you have those still laying around, keep those, fire them up, and be able to run and do what they always say, spin to win. It's very nice to be able to have a different type of play style as opposed to, say, your standard Marauders pieces. As you can see, I'm just using strafe and not even using my Rain of Vengeance, and you can see that it's doing quite a bit of damage as we go through here. So hopefully that helped you guys. Like I said, if you like the build, if you like the video, definitely hit that like button below. That is always appreciated. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos for patch 2.2 for all classes, several for the Demon Hunter, several for many other classes. So if you haven't subscribed already and you're looking for more Diablo content or more Diablo builds, be sure and subscribe now. Be a part of the team. As always, guys, I appreciate you watching. Until next time, happy hunting. See you again.